that the most important consequences of all the activity we're here to initiate is that together on both sides of the Atlantic, we will work together to make sure that never again will we allow a handful of people with superior technology to walk into Africa, seize our peoples, and sell them into slavery.
The year of return declared by President Kwadwo has served Ghana well. It had a very positive impact on the front of tourism in the country, according to statistics. The year saw many notable figures across the globe visit the country, with many of the returnees acquiring parcels of land to settle in various parts of the country. It was subsequently followed with a series of activities aimed at integrating the returnees into the economy of Ghana. The paramount chief of the Asebu traditional area, for instance, released about 5,000 acres of land for the returnees to settle and help develop the area. But beyond tourism, the diasporans are congregating to share ideas about Ghana's education system.
I believe that we have to begin to identify the key actors in the space. Many years ago, there was this talk about brain drain. Africa's best and brightest leaving the shores of Africa abroad, and we said brain drain because we thought we'll never get them back. Now there's a talk of brain circulation.
Ghana's Minister of Education, Dr. Osei Edichum. Dr. Edichum is upbeat that the All-Africa Diaspora Education Summit would generate great ideas that could be dovetailed into Ghana's education system.
So Ghanaians abroad are coming back home. I spent 26 years of my life in America, and I'm back home serving my nation. But beyond that, we also know that our brothers and sisters left the shores of Africa not voluntarily. So those who left through the slave trade are also coming back. And as they come back, they don't come back as tourists. They come back as returnees to their own land, to their motherland. And their contribution to their motherland should be appreciated, and we should have a mechanism in place that allows them to serve the motherland that they love so much. So within the context of the voluntary migrants coming back home and the involuntary coming back home, there should be a focus for us as a nation to tap into their talent and use it, their many years of experience that they've garnered, to use it for the transformation of our dear nation. These days, you don't have to actually be physically present to contribute. So beyond the year of return, people can also return electronically and begin to serve our nation in diverse ways and in diverse capacities, encouraging students, sharing their experience with students, a whole lot of things that we can do to tap into the potentials that they all bring to the table. The government, through the President Nyarko Kwadwo, is doing major transformation in the TVET space. And a number of times, what is critical is the expertise that is needed, the teachers who are trained. And if you have engineers coming, some of you have worked for the aircraft industry, car manufacturing industry, and consequently tapping into expertise, sometimes to mentor a teacher, to guide a teacher, and even remotely through electronic means is something that we can use to really benefit the education system of this country.
I made it quite clear that from now on today, we must change our attitudes.
When we were on our own, when we were truly Africans, when we were not semi-Europeans, we were a wonderful people with a system of governance, with a very beautiful culture, with a beautiful, everything.
Nana Obukesiampa is the Apijahin of the Asebu traditional area and founder and president of Obukesi University of Excellence. Nana reviews some of the offshoots of the year of return that are impacting on the people of Ghana, with a new arrival being the All-Africa Diaspora Education Summit that's scheduled to take place at the University of Cape Coast.
Africa was just a beautiful place. We had our own system of education, our own education system, our own culture, our own religion, our own way of doing business. Everything was very beautiful here. We are only lacking because we are trying to pursue others' culture. So the All-African Diaspora Education Summit is purpose to bring together African scholars and the African diaspora scholars to take a look at our system of education, to take a look at our curriculum, to see, for the very first time, to start a conversation in African-centered curriculum, to start a conversation on how this type of education has helped us for the past 400 years, on how this type of education, in Ghana's case, 60+ years of independence, is this curriculum, is this type of education really African-centered? Does it take Africa into consideration? Does it really help our place? Does it help us as a people? After 60 years, is this type of education that we have currently, is this curriculum, is it the right curriculum that we need?
The University of Cape Coast, that is hosting the summit of over 400 participants, says the summit couldn't have come at such a better time. Professor Johnson Nyarko is the Vice Chancellor of the university.
This is the time to showcase what we have done to the world, and especially people from diaspora coming to Ghana. Probably some of them, it will be their first time. So University of Cape Coast will then explore the possibility of having collaboration with the universities, that the president of universities that are coming here, so that now we can extend our tentacles to other parts of the world. You know, we have collaboration with many other universities, but for those of African descent, they are limited. So once we have the opportunity to establish collaboration with them, and once they also have the opportunity to visit our university, when we go to them or one day, anytime we meet, they will also recognize that we as an institution at least has what it takes to match up with any institution anywhere in the world. So the university, we want to do collaborative research. And for collaborative research, we need funding. So when we get partners from other institutions, we write joint proposals, then we can do collaborative research and then publish. That is one area that would benefit, we will have mutual benefits. Then exchange of students and staff. We want our students to have that global exposure. So our students can go there, as lecturers and faculty members can also go there, and they in turn can also bring their faculty members and students here. That will help us to understand ourselves and to be able to work together. Apart from that, best practices in terms of administration, in terms of community engagement, in terms of having impact on society. And with respect to entrepreneurship, as we are aware, it is not, we have been able to put a policy in place. We are now also trying to inculcate the 21st skills into our curricula so that we bring the students up to the level that when they complete their programs, they will not be a burden onto society, but they themselves will be able to create jobs and then provide opportunities for others to get jobs to do. And I think this will help when we have collaboration with other universities outside Ghana, so that they will not be limited to only Ghana, but the entire world.
Former Vice President of the National House of Chiefs and Board Chair of the Obukesi University of Excellence, Kwadwo says something about Ghana's educational system ought to change.
We are bringing not less than 400 people, scholars, professors, and I name them here on the 19th to 24th or 25th. Yeah, it's all about education. Cape Coast or Central Region is education. And if here is the hub of education, we need to bring people who can help us, not only Cape Coast, as a matter of fact, not only Obukasi University, a entire Ghana. So these scholars also come in, exchange ideas, tell us what they've been doing in the US, and they also tell them what we've been doing here in Ghana, so that the university also can cooperate with them, and then so that after the program we'll see that, because this is what we have for you Ghanaians. We can send it to the Ministry of Education. Ministry said, this is what we have in our hand. See if it's going to help this country, then we take it from there. Because of our tourism, we are getting a lot of people here. I think somewhere last year, in the 11th or so, we had over 300 people from the diaspora. And they have interest coming to Ghana, especially Cape Coast, to live here. We are also trying, the reason why we are bringing more blacks, we're trying to make sure that we get more blacks to be with us so that they can help us. Because once they know they are from Ghana or wherever, they are from Africa, and we bring them into our community or into the region, they have other things to do to help us. So it's not necessarily tourism, but any sort of help that they can offer for the region to grow. We've been trying to educate our people, talking to us. Everything that we do now is coming from the West. Everything is coming from Europe, America, and other places, because whatever they watch on the television is what they want to do. So they are doing more of questions than what we do here. And we've been, talking to our people, our chief, that we have to talk to our kids to learn our culture, because Ghana is Ghana because of our culture, our traditions. So if we forget about all these things, we are no more Ghanaians.
Nana Kwame Nakra II, rector of the Obukasi University of Excellence, shares a similar view with Kwadwo. He believes Ghana's education system has more Western ideologies than what the African really stand for.
Human being is only as good as their mind. A human being cannot outswim a fish, cannot fly like a bird, cannot outrun a cheetah. He's not stronger than a baboon. So the only thing that makes a human viable is the development of this. So if your mind has been configured in a way that you believe as an African person that the only thing of value is what Europeans have done, you are already diminishing your value. So for example, if you ask young people, let's say at University of Cape Coast, to name some very wealthy, famous people, they might name Bill Gates, they might name Warren Buffett, but they should name Dan Gote, but they don't know that name. They should name Mansa Musa, who by himself would make Bill Gates, all these people seem like impoverished people. So if you think of like a computer, if you Google something on a computer, what comes up depends upon what search engine you have. So if you have a search engine that pulls up everything European, then you assume that those are the valuable things. We would say the purpose of what we're talking about is to replace the European search engine with an African search engine. So your first inclination, no matter what you think about, is to opt for the African. So in order to do that, the educational system has to train your mind so that you think Africa first.
The paramount chief of the Ogwa traditional area, Sabre Makwesiata II, believes the country could take advantage of the educational institutions and use the forum to enhance the growth of such institutions.
I'm excited about the whole thing. It should have happened 50, 100 years ago. This is a continuation of the year of return. We as Africans must know who we are. We must go back to learn what our ancestors did, what sort of information we can gather, improve upon it, so that we know where we are going. I look at it as the bedrock of everything that anybody does. And what better than to go to the source of education? So far as Cape Coast is concerned, this is the cradle of education. So I'm all for educational tourism, because whilst pursuing your own agenda, you will learn the history of the environment as well. And when you come to Cape Coast, as I'm suggesting that this should be a matter of, one shouldn't even think of it. When you talk of educational tourism, the first place that should come to your mind is Cape Coast. And educational tourism also opens one's mind. It makes one's mind fertile, and it absorbs history, academic, whatever you want to pursue.
The Education Minister, Dr. Educhum, believes the outcome of the summit could serve as a valuable resource for Ghana's educational system.
I think the most critical thing is to liaise with the organizers in such a way that you can organize some trips for them. When they come, depending upon the schedule, the day before the summit, you can do a trip for them to visit some schools across the country so that they begin to see what the government is doing and how they can participate in it. You can do a special meeting with the Minister for Education to just dialogue with them and do a Q&A with them outside the regular summit. So there are many things that can be done to engage them. We should also go to them with opportunities for partnership. Former headmasters or the principals among them may be enticed to even come and spend a year in Ghana helping us train principals and headmasters for that matter. So I think it's all about how you use the potential that is coming to the country beyond the return. So I think beyond the return, you capture how we are tapping into the expertise of those who return. And even if they are not coming back, how can they support the country in their countries? And if they come back, how do we engage them, the retirees among them? How do we find something for them to do to make their stay here worthwhile, to really feel like they've contributed to their motherland? And if these are new immigrants, or I would say migrants from here who settled abroad and they are coming back home, how do we also tap into their potential to make sure that they feel rewarded and enjoy their return to our beautiful nation? But you have some historic schools. If you're talking about Akropong Presbyterian College of Education, it has serious historical significance. So people may want to go there and see how was education organized in Africa in the 1840s and all those. So there's a place for that, but you really have to organize it well. I'm sure some people will be fascinated by the fact that there was a college of education in Ghana in the 18s, in the 1840s, the 1800s, and let me go and see. So I think some schools are cut out for education tourism, but not every school is cut out for it.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast says the university always craves for collaboration and partnership, and he's looking for a mutually beneficial collaboration.
As you are aware, we are digitizing our programs so that we can reach out to other people outside the country. So in terms of benefits to Code, not only to Code, but to the university, it means that we can then reach out to many people. People can do our courses online. And once they do courses with us, they may be interested to visit our university. And by so doing, even form sort of collaboration with themselves, with the students on campus and then students outside. So that's the mutual benefit we get. Apart from that, university also needs money. So, and you know, these days we are compelled to be innovative, to get money to develop the university. So if we are able to extend our program to other parts of the country, then we can also get money to support the development of the country.
Nana Obukesi Ampa is hopeful that the summit will yield some positive dividends and add some value to Ghana's education system.
Thank you to our President, Nana Akufo-Addo, for coming up with the year for 10. It has really ignited some passion in Pan-Africanism, in the sense that if you even look at beyond the 10, there are 7 pillars. What we are doing talks about the pillars of beyond the 10 for coming up with the year for 10. It has really ignited some passion in Pan-Africanism, in the sense that if you even look at beyond the 10, there are 7 pillars. What we are doing talks about the pillars of beyond the 10. This is a Government of Ghana policy initiative that we are riding on, and coupled with the fact that we sat down, we've been trying to discuss the 700 years anniversary of King Mansa Musa, his trip to Mecca. And what is the best way to commemorate it? What's the best way to let the world know the history before slave trade, the history before colonialism? The best tool for Africans to utilize today is just to talk about the Mansa Musa story. We should take a critical look at the intention of the colonizer. I think the colonizer came with 3 objectives. Number 1 was to physically occupy our land, to take our land. Number 2 was to build institutions that would make the occupation beneficial to him. Number 3 was to perpetually benefit from the above 2 arrangements that I just mentioned. So, 6th of March 1957, Ghana had its independence. That means that the first objective of the colonizer was taken away. As in the physical occupation of the land, we had our own independence, we had our own government. Now, in the frenzy, we forgot about the 2 most important ones. That is number 1, and number 2, the system they put in place. Our education system is heavily Europeanized. You know, we need the type of education that has Africa at the center, Africa at the fulcrum. We need what we call African-centered education. We cannot really progress as a people with this type of education that prepares us to be semi-Europeans, so to speak. We cannot really have education system that does not really positions the culture or our value system at the center of the curriculum. So we believe that it's high time we begin a conversation into this. Most of the problems we face, we think it's all political. No, it's not PDP or ACP or NDC or MPP. It's our mindset.
Take the shackles off my feet. Make I go, make I go. It's a battle with the beast. Take your shield, here we go. Kwame Nkrumah take over.